Abraham Lincoln was born in the year 1809. It was a cold day in February. He was born in a small wooden house called a log cabin. The cabin was in Kentucky, in the countryside. It had only one room. There were no windows, no floor, no heat, and no soft bed. It was cold in the winter and hot in the summer. Life was not easy, but it was full of love. Abraham's father was named Thomas Lincoln. His mother was Nancy Lincoln. They were very poor. They worked hard every day to grow food like corn and beans. Sometimes they had a little meat. They made their own clothes. Abe, as people called him, often didn't have shoes. He helped his parents with the work on the farm. Even as a young boy, he had strong arms from cutting wood and carrying water. Abe's mother, Nancy, was kind and gentle. She taught him to be honest and good. She said, "Abe, always tell the truth." She wanted him to grow up to be a man with a good heart. But when Abe was only 9 years old, his mother became very sick. There was no doctor nearby. After a short time, she died. Abe felt very sad. He missed her very much. Some time later, Abe's father married another woman. Her name was Sarah Bush Johnston. She became Abe's stepmother. Sarah was a kind and loving woman. She cared about Abe. She saw something special in him. She noticed that Abe was different from other children. While other boys liked to play or hunt, Abe liked to ask questions. He was very curious. He wanted to know about the stars, the sky, and the animals. He wanted to understand the world. But there were no books in their small home. Books were expensive. Most families did not have any. Abe really wanted to read. So he would walk many miles just to borrow a book. He often walked without shoes, but he didn't care. When he had a book in his hands, he felt rich. After working all day, Abe would sit near the fire at night. He would open the book and read in the light from the fire. Sometimes the fire was small. He had to hold the book very close. He read slowly and carefully. He didn't want to miss a word. He loved the stories in the books. They gave him hope. They helped him dream. One of his favorite books was Aesop's Fables. These were short stories with animals that taught life lessons. He learned that honesty is the best policy and that slow and steady wins the race. These simple ideas stayed in his heart for many years. He also read the Bible. It was not just a religious book to him. It had stories about courage, pain, kindness, and hope. These stories made him think about what is right and what is wrong. Abe also learned from nature. He watched birds fly in the sky. He listened to the sound of wind in the trees. He followed animal tracks in the forest. He learned to catch fish and make fires. Nature was his first school. It taught him to be patient. It taught him to notice small things. It helped him think. Even though Abe worked hard every day, his mind was always full of dreams. He wanted to learn. He wanted to grow. He wanted to see what was beyond the trees and hills. He asked himself, "What is out there? Can I do something great?" Abe did not know the answer yet. He was just a boy living in a log cabin. He did not have money or power, but he had something very important. He had big dreams, and he had the heart to follow them. That is where his great journey began. As Abraham Lincoln grew older, he continued to live a hard but honest life. His family moved to Indiana and later to Illinois. These were new places, but the work was still the same. Every day, Abe helped his father on the farm. He chopped wood, carried water, and worked in the fields. His hands became rough, and his back grew strong. Life was not easy, but Abe never gave up. Even after long days of work, Abe still wanted to learn. He loved books more than anything. At night, when the work was done, he sat on the floor near the fire. He used the firelight to read because the family did not have candles or lamps. The room was dark, but the small fire gave enough light. Abe placed the book close to the fire and read for hours. Sometimes he was so tired that his eyes would close, but he kept reading. He knew that learning was the key to a better life. Abe did not have paper or pens, so he used what he could find. He wrote on pieces of wood, on leaves, or even on the dirt floor. He used a piece of charcoal from the fire to write letters and words. He copied what he read and practiced writing over and over again. He wanted to remember everything. He borrowed books from neighbors. Sometimes he walked miles to get a book. He did not care about the distance or the weather. When he held a book in his hands, he felt happy. One day, he borrowed a history book and placed it near his bed. That night, it rained, and the roof leaked. The book got wet. Abe was very upset. He had ruined the book, but Abe did not hide. He went to the neighbor's house and told the truth. He said, "I am sorry. I damaged your book. I will work to pay for it." The neighbor agreed. Abe worked for many days in the man's fields to make up for the book. He did not complain. He learned a lesson. Be honest. Take responsibility. Do the right thing. This story helped him become known as Honest Abe. Abe did many jobs as a young man. He worked on farms, chopped wood, and helped build fences. Later, he worked in a small store. He greeted people with a smile and treated them with respect. One day, he made a mistake and charged a woman too much for sugar. After the store closed, he walked several miles to return a few cents to her. It was not much money, but it mattered to him. He believed that every person deserved fairness. He also worked as a postman, delivering letters and packages to people in the area. He enjoyed this job because he met many people and learned about their lives. He listened to their problems and stories. He cared about them. Abe was friendly and respectful to everyone, rich or poor. Later, he worked on a flatboat, helping carry goods down the river. On one trip, he went to New Orleans. There, he saw something that shocked him deeply. He saw people being sold as slaves. Men, women, and even children were treated like property. Abe stood still and watched. He felt pain and sadness in his heart. He thought, "How can this be right?" That moment stayed with him forever. He began to believe that slavery was wrong and that one day it must end. Even with all his work, Abe still made time to read and learn. He loved stories, but he also loved facts. He read about government, history, and law, and he wanted to understand how the world worked. He dreamed of helping people. He even started teaching others. Sometimes he told stories to children using his own words. He liked to make them laugh, but he also wanted them to learn something important. Abe believed in learning, in kindness, and in truth. He did not go to school for many years, but he taught himself. He used books, hard work, and honesty to grow. He believed that if you work hard and stay true to yourself, you can do great things. He was no longer just a boy with dreams. He was becoming a man with purpose. As Abraham Lincoln became a young man, more people began to notice him. He was tall and strong, but that was not the only reason. People liked him because he was kind, honest, and very good with words. He knew how to tell a story that could make people laugh or help them understand something difficult. He did not use big or fancy words. He spoke in a way that felt real. He spoke from the heart. Abe started joining small debates in his town. In these meetings, people talked about laws, farming, and problems in the community. Abe listened carefully. When it was his turn to speak, he shared his thoughts clearly. He used stories and questions to explain his ideas. Even though he had little formal education, he was smart and full of common sense. People were surprised. They began to say, "That young man has something special." In 1832, Abe decided to run for public office. He wanted to be part of the state legislature in Illinois. He was only 23 years old. He did not win the election, but he did not give up. He knew he had to learn more, so he kept reading and speaking. 2 years later, in 1834, he ran again. This time, he won. It was the beginning of his long journey in public service. Abe worked hard and continued to teach himself about law and government. He became a lawyer. He helped people with legal problems. He never took more money than he needed. He was fair and honest in every case. More and more people trusted him. They came to him not just for legal help, but also for advice and comfort. As the years passed, America began to change. The country grew bigger, but it was also becoming more divided. The biggest problem was slavery. In the South, many people owned slaves and wanted to keep slavery. In the North, many people believed slavery was wrong. The arguments grew louder, and the country felt like it might fall apart. Abe believed that all people should be free. He thought slavery was unfair and went against the idea of freedom. In 1860, something amazing happened. Abe Lincoln, the poor boy from the log cabin, was elected the 16th President of the United States. Many people cheered. Others were afraid. Some southern states did not accept him as president. They left the Union and started their own government. A war began. It was called the Civil War. The war was long and painful. Families were torn apart. Thousands of people died. Every day Abe felt the weight of this war. He wanted to keep the country together, but he also wanted to do what was right. In 1863, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This important document said that all slaves in the Confederate States were free. It was a brave step. It did not end all slavery right away, but it gave new meaning to the war. Now the fight was not only about keeping the Union together, it was also about freedom. Later that year, Abe gave a speech in a place called Gettysburg. A great battle had taken place there. Many soldiers had died. People came together to honor them. Abe gave a short speech, only about 2 minutes long, but those words touched people's hearts. He said that the soldiers had died for a good cause. He said the country must have a new birth of freedom. He said the government must be of the people, by the people, for the people. Those words became famous. They still guide the United States today. The war finally ended in 1865. The North had won. The Union was saved. Slavery would soon be ended everywhere with the 13th Amendment. People began to hope again. But just days after the war ended, something terrible happened. While watching a play in a theater, President Lincoln was shot by a man who disagreed with his ideas. The next morning, Abraham Lincoln died. The country was in deep sadness. People cried in the streets. They felt they had lost more than a president. They had lost a leader, a friend, and a man of hope. But Abe's story did not end that day. His words, his ideas, and his example still live on. He showed that one person, even a poor boy from a small cabin, can change the world. He taught us that honesty, learning, and kindness are powerful. He believed in freedom and justice for all, and he used his words to help build a better future. His story reminds us that every voice matters, and every dream is worth believing in. Abraham Lincoln's life is a powerful and inspiring story. He was born in a small log cabin with almost nothing. He had no money, no nice clothes, and no easy path. But he had something special inside him, a strong heart, a curious mind, and a kind spirit. From a young age, he worked hard and helped his family, but he also found time to read, to learn, and to dream. Even when life was difficult, he never gave up. He walked for miles to borrow books. He read by the firelight after a long day of work. He believed that learning could change his life, and it did. He taught himself how to read, write, and speak with honesty and purpose. His words helped people trust him, love him, and follow him. As a young man, Abraham worked many jobs. He was a store clerk, a postman, a lawyer, and later, a leader. People called him Honest Abe because he always told the truth. He cared about fairness and justice. When he saw slavery, he knew it was wrong. He spoke out. He acted. And one day, he became the President of the United States. As president, he led the country through its darkest time, the Civil War. He gave speeches that gave people hope. He wrote the Emancipation Proclamation to help end slavery. He gave the Gettysburg Address to remind everyone of the values of freedom and equality. He used simple, strong words to guide a broken nation. Abraham Lincoln showed us that one person, even someone from a poor family, can change the world. He used the power of honesty, learning, and kindness to become a great leader. His story teaches us that no dream is too big and no person is too small. You can be like Lincoln, strong, honest, and full of hope. What is the lesson? Always believe in yourself. Work hard. Stay honest. Learn something every day. And when life is hard, don't give up. Like Lincoln, you can grow, you can lead, and you can inspire others. Today's world still needs people like him, people who choose peace, justice, and kindness. Congratulations! You did it! You listened to the whole story in English. That means your listening, understanding, and vocabulary are getting better. Keep going step by step, and you'll improve every day. We are so proud of you. Now here's a fun question to test your memory. What job did young Lincoln do before becoming president? A. He worked as a postman. B. He worked as a teacher. Comment your answer A or B below. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to support us. Your support gives us motivation to keep making free, high-quality content to help you learn English. If you enjoy our work and want to help us grow, feel free to donate any small amount. In the beginning, it is very hard to produce great content without help. Every donation helps us keep going and create better stories for you. Thank you for being with us. See you in the next story.